The decision to acquire one of the free 4-star characters could be a tough one to make, and this video is going to review all the options for you. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Princess Connect Redive, which is one of the most successful gacha games in Japan since its release, and it's from the same creators of Dragalia Lost, Shadowverse, and Grand Blue Fantasy, and it's now available worldwide on iOS and Android. This all-inclusive anime RPG features beautifully animated cutscenes, special abilities, and characters, but the best of all, you can enjoy an incredibly deep and original story that also has an anime based on it, with the second season coming on its way. And there's no better time to join than now, since the game is celebrating its worldwide release and giving away to new players who join thousands of free jewels and even a guaranteed 3-star highest rarity character. And the newest released character is June, who is a must-have for clan battles. So don't miss out on these rewards, and you will also be supporting us. Just make sure to click on the download link below and check out Princess Connect Redive today. The first character we're taking a look at is Beidou, and probably the most coolest thing about her is her elemental skill, which lets you pull off a satisfying counter attack that really manages to capture the feeling of a dopamine rush that you would otherwise get mostly from summoning new characters. It's also helpful to know that she can be used both as a support and main damage dealer, and thanks to her elemental burst, it works even better after switching to another teammate, which lets you transfer bolts of lightning to nearby enemies that works very similar to electrocharge reaction. Obviously, the most important thing to consider would be if she's going to be either your new character or end up as an additional constellation, and it just so happens that nearly every single constellation of hers is a direct upgrade in terms of damage output, and the worst being the first constellation, which is only relevant if you struggle with surviving enemy attacks. Other than that, her remaining constellations are excellent, especially the second one, which powers up her burst even further. But when going back to her gameplay style, the big decision you probably want to factor in would be her counter, which isn't something everyone will appreciate since it does require a level of precision to pull it off, and someone who plays on mobile or perhaps doesn't have the best reflexes will struggle with pulling off the full counter, and it does deliver underwhelming damage if you do miss the timing. Still, she's a very fun and versatile character that also benefits from nearly every constellation, so she could be the one for you to celebrate the Lantern Rites Festival. Thanks to the Dragon Spine update, it's now easier than before to pick up Chongyun and deliver powerful damage within few upgrades, and even if previously you could use him comfortably as your damage support, just by having now an artifact set that gives 15% increased cryo damage, just like every other 2 set that's now released, truly lifts the burden of using other artifact combinations. It's also beneficial to know that his abilities have a very wide area of attacks, so he is excellent with handling groups of enemies, and what's even better, because the cooldown of his elemental burst and skill don't take long to refresh, you can easily spam his abilities without too much effort. There is a slight drawback when using him in certain team compositions, which include physical damage dealers, since his elemental skill will infuse their attacks with cryo, which results in a drop of damage output, and you definitely want to find the sweet spot of when to utilize this cryo attack and how to position the cryo field itself. But when looking at his constellations, he can get a pretty major upgrade in damage just by getting the first constellation, even though it is more relevant if you use him as your main damage dealer. But if you're far into his constellations, the last one truly gives a big boost in his burst talent, so picking him for the constellation in this event could be a great choice. And if you like to play in co-op, it's also worthwhile to mention that his second constellation is a very good upgrade that your co-op buddies will appreciate. So if you're ready to take the plunge with this popsicle boy, maybe it's about time you ask he made you one as well. This professional businesswoman not only knows how to make a fortune, but can also deal wealthy amount of damage to her enemies. And it just so happens that she and her Geo colleagues have received one of the biggest changes in Genshin Impact's history that overhauled how the Geo Resonance works, which all things considering, she was already an incredibly strong damage dealer, but by activating the Resonance bonus, she becomes an even scarier catalyst of destruction. And if you're still unaware of the changes, the Geo Resonance basically now makes your shields more durable, and while you're under the shield's effect, you not only deal more damage, but you also shred away the enemy's geo resistance by 20%. So as you can imagine, Ningguang was already regarded as the best geo damage dealer, and with the addition of these changes, she can achieve even better results with less resources required, which is even better if you are already done building her artifacts and can now enjoy that insane resonance bonus. The only drawback that's basically not even her own fault would be that Geo is not capable of breaking any of the Abyss Mage or Fatui shields, although you do have an easier time dealing with Hilichurl rock rock shields. And when looking at her constellations, the only thing that's not great would be the fourth one, which isn't that relevant when the game mostly revolves around dishing out as much damage as possible, but every other one, especially the first constellation, is a serious upgrade to her attacks, which turns them into an AoE damage that allows Ningguang to easily deal with groups of enemies. So if you're ready to become a secretary for Ningguang, she will be waiting for your decision during the Lantern Rite Festival. If there's one character that knows how to make any teammate into a deadly damage dealer, then Xingqiu would be your guy. He is easily one of the best damage support characters in the game that also manages to provide defensive capabilities thanks to how his rain swords work, and the way his elemental skill is designed, he can easily dish out serious damage just by using the rain slash alone. And what's even crazier is that every single constellation for him is a valuable addition to his already powerful kit, so if you already have him and wondering how much of an impact a new constellation will have, there's no easier way to figure this out than by examining any of the constellations, with the second one in particular giving 2 bonuses for the price of 1 that will extend the burst's duration and also decrease enemies' hydro resistance by 15%, so the onslaught of rain swords will hit even harder than before. But if there's one thing that needs to be considered about him, then it would be his slight problem with energy recharge. That does depend quite a lot on whether if you have a sword with energy recharge substat, but as long as you can find a way to boost his energy recharge to somewhere around 180%, you should be solid. And besides his high cost burst, he also works amazingly well with nearly any team composition thanks to his flexible hydro element, which enables one of the strongest vaporize reactions, not to mention you can also build freeze teams as well. Overall, Xingqiu is a true master when it comes to providing superb damage support, and picking him, whether you don't have him or want constellations, is either way going to work out well for you. The spirit of rock and roll lives through Xinyan, and her musical approach to combat not only is an entertaining one, but also comes with some serious benefits. Probably the first and most unique thing about her is the fact that she has a split support between physical and pyro damage, which means not only can you take care of those annoying cryo shields, but then also deliver devastating physical damage from her burst as well. And what's even better, since she is a claymore user, she will also have no problem singing a tune while getting busy with those ores she's mining, and she can even take care of those rock shields as well. So she's definitely versatile, but great things don't stop there, and she also happens to be one of those shield characters who can give you an extra survivability, as well as enable various things like Belied Artifact set, or even provide an extra shield for when you need it to utilize the Georesonance bonus. The only drawback would be your mediocre pyro damage, which hasn't been designed with an intention to be your true source of damage, but you can't have it all without some sort of a compromise. Now when we take a look at her constellations, probably the most exciting is her second one, which basically makes her burst's physical damage automatically score critical hits, and if you decide to use her as your support, you can easily build up her damage without thinking too much about her critical rating. So if you're not the biggest fan of optimizing artifacts and instead want a plug-and-play solution after the second constellation, this could be a good choice if you're one step away from unlocking it. So in essence, it's almost scary how strong Xinyan is in terms of versatility, and it's probably already obvious, but she is from the pyro element, which is currently heavily favored in a lot of games' content. So if you want a character that comes with many solutions, maybe it's high time for you to pick her during the event. For many of us who have been with Genshin since its launch, it's kind of heartwarming to see Xiangling among every other 4-star character you can choose from, and this chef obsessed with the perfect dish might be someone you want to consider going after in this event. Now it is important to note that you can get her for free just by completing the 3rd floor of the Abyss, and this could be a discouraging decision point for many, since a lot of us simply enjoy collecting new characters, which is part of the allure of every gacha game out there. So when looking at her constellations, the only thing that's a bit of an eyesore would be her second constellation, which is only relevant if you're serious about using her as your main damage dealer, but it just so happens she excels greatly as a support instead, even though something like Crescent Pike can enable her to dish out lots of damage. But ignoring this constellation alone, any other one you unlock is a great power boost, not only for her, but for your team as well, especially if you're going to be using double pyro character team build, which can let you benefit from 2 of her constellations. And thanks to her playstyle, it really doesn't take much to activate her skill and burst, and just wreak havoc with any other characters you switch out to. So she truly knows how to make any pyro teammate shine with her constellations, and her easy to deploy abilities also let you use her without mining her too much. Let us know in the comments which character you will be choosing from the event. Also, don't forget to subscribe by hitting the bell notification on and gently pressing the like button. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, where all the latest details about 1.3 will be shared. Thank you for watching us.